What is going on, everybody? Bobby Fire, Eric Sheets-Haber. We're going to be talking about this MLB slate. I'm sorry if I'm a little stuffy this morning, but bear with me. I did not do great yesterday. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. Just didn't have the right mix of everything. Sheets, how did you do? Any thoughts before we get into the slate?
A couple of my Yankees lineups gave me a little bit of hope for a while at the end, but I needed like one more swipe to get to make me profitable. I couldn't quite get it done. NBA as well. I cashed in the alley-oop over there. Not enough to make up for other stuff though. So overall, a negative day.
Yeah, not quite. It wasn't mine either. All right, let's take a look. I'll pull up my screen here. We'll go game by game and talk through some of the things that we like and we don't like. I'll keep an eye on that. I'm looking at the weather concerns. I think they're all games that are not on this slate except for I think a little bit in your area, which is not going to be too much of an issue. It seems like it's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. All right. Starting off with Rays and Jays. Barrios and Baz and Cheats. Is there anything you like in this game? Feels like
so overall on the slate. I mean, I'm seeing a real not glut. Like I'm seeing two real standout pitchers. Okay, and so when I have a situation like that, it usually ends up getting to like a whole bunch of different stacks. So I mean, you can't have everything, right? You can't have the chalky best pitchers and the chalky best stacks. So I'm looking for any, hitting environment to kind of get me there. And actually, Tampa is showing up as one of the better options. So I am getting a decent amount of Tampa on DraftKings, but I'm definitely not getting to either of these pitchers, either Barrios or Baz, except to say that after the top two, I mean, you could play a lot of different guys and be well within your rights. But I think I'm going to end up like being pretty chalky in pitching, hopefully spreading out enough in the hitting.
Yeah, I don't have anything in this at that first look. I guess I could make a case for the hitting like you did, sort of. But I'm not like. I mean, Barrios has faced these guys, a fair bit of times, and he has not been very good. So I guess maybe it's worthwhile to take a little bit of a shot, but I feel like there's got to be other spots on the slate that I'm going to like a little bit better. So for me, I'm not quite as heavily as into this one, but I reserve the right to change my mind before later because I am not sure I'm going to stick with that. I actually think Toronto. I just feel like I also feel like these pitchers should even like. I just feel like I could have considered this a 4-pronger or a 0, and I'm sort of sticking with 0 at the moment, but we'll see. I'm trying to narrow down my number of stacks these days. I've been going, I think, a little too spread out. All right, Pittsburgh and New York could be a little bit of rain during the game. Doesn't seem like there's anything they're not going to play through. I wonder if we're going to get 100% of the Pirates if we run through SaberSim again. I don't know that I want to do that against Senga, and I think Senga is very much in play here. So I like Senga, and to be honest with you, I don't think Keller's that bad of a pitcher. So I was going to mention the Mets, but I think I'm probably just going to say Senga or nothing else from this one for me.
Yeah, I have Senga as second tier, so it depends on what you want to do. So I have Senga among a group of possible pivots. So I think he's fine, but not a priority. And I'm getting to none of the hitting here at all.
Yeah, and then for what it's worth too, it's there's like 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing in from right field, even though it is humid and warm enough. It's just, yeah, it's not ideal. All right, Washington, Atlanta, and I'm just double checking the weather in this one because there might be a little rain. That's all right. It's nice and warm. We've got Schwellenbach and Soroka. I am confused at why Atlanta is not the massive chalk here, and maybe you can help me out with that.
Yeah, I have them as one of the top 5. I mean, I don't have them as the top play, but I certainly have them in the top group. So I have no problem with the not with the confusion, but I have no problem with the assessment that they should be higher owned than they are. But I have them definitely top 5, and I have Schwellenbach as kind of like part of that second tier for me as far as pitching goes. So you want to play Schwellenbach with the Braves, I think it's perfectly okay. In addition to that, though, like I am getting a little bit of Washington as second tier stacks. Like I have 5 kind of main value stacks. One of them being Tampa, which I talked about, Atlanta being another, and then I have this other little group, and I have Washington part of that other little group. So I think that Schwellenbach, Braves, Washington a little bit all makes sense, but Braves I think are definitely the. If I had to rank what part I would prefer, first Braves, then Schwellenbach, then Washington.
That's where I'm at it too for this one. And I don't love taking pitchers. I mean, again, I would keep mentioning this about this Washington team. They're just tough to get away with taking the pitchers against because they don't strike out that much. So you don't really get those ceiling games that you need. All right, well, it's happening again. I guess sort of a similar situation to last night for me at least. We have Miami and Chicago, and one, I think Ben Brown is completely viable against this Miami team, and Miami's got one of the lowest totals. Ben Brown's got a 6.5 K expected rate. That's pretty high. Cubs not getting a ton of ownership. You do have a little bit of like 6-mile-an-hour winds blowing in, not much. I think I'm back on the Cubs again, Sheets. How about you?
Yeah, I'm Ben Brown. I have as one of the top 2 options on the slate, pretty clearly actually. And I, again, for no reason, I'm just not really getting to the Cubs as one of the top options this week, today. And even when I ran the Sims, I'm really not getting too much of that either. I am getting them on FanDuel, if that matters.
They're cheaper.
Okay.
Or it's easier. Let me rephrase. It's easier to get them in, yeah.
Okay. So I do like them on FanDuel, and I do like Ben Brown. And as far as, with Saberson being in the mood or whatever, I am getting a little. I'm getting some Miami in the Sims. So that's going to be the leverage spot.
That's interesting.
Right now, yeah. So, but I definitely think Ben Brown is one of the top 2 options.
Yeah, same page on the Brown idea for me. Well, they've got this. Sabres got this game at like a run higher than Vegas. Colorado and Texas. We have Leiter, who, of course, if you're facing these Rockies, you're going to get ownership. It's simple as that, and it's pretty much every time. Let me just see what the strikeout the K is. 5 points. That's pretty high. So it's going to look like, and then everyone wants to play Texas again, and I'm just going to ask the question why. They just don't do anything. So for me, this is probably my fade is to not play Texas. They are cheap. They're cheap and there's pinch hit risk for like Haggerty, who's supposed to lead off. He's a switch hitter. I don't know what they're going to do with him, to be honest with you, because you'd think they get Peterson back in the game, who usually bats 3rd or 4th for them, although he's been terrible. If Freeland's out. So I guess I just have a little bit of interest in Leiter, and I'm going to try and fade the Rangers. Now, I might use them as a complimentary stack because they are cheap, but I don't love this for them.
Yeah, I mean, if playing the Rangers last night wasn't frustrating enough, right? Getting owned by Dollarhide for most of the day, or
they were getting no hit for a while.
Or playing the Pirates last night, we knew it was a bad play. You know what I mean? Like, if that wasn't enough for you, you could just come right back and get more punishment today. Because they are projecting really well, they're projecting to be popular, and you have the wonderful opportunity to try that again. I hope I don't do it. Right. I've got other plans though. We'll get to those later.
Yeah, I hope so, because I'm not in love with anything we've talked about so far.
Yeah, Leiter, I think he's a second tier. One of the many second tier pitchers I have. And we'll move on to the next one, I guess.
Okay. Yep. I think that.
So I thought I was not going to complain, but the freaking Royals, man, came out of the gate freaking just blasting against Gusto.
Yeah.
Then sort of petered out a little bit.
They still had a pretty good slate, I think. Yeah.
Well, they did, and then but one thing that you're right about. I mean, not that you're right about. It's just a fact. I mean, Sal Perez hasn't hit it kind of hit. I mean, he and like Jock Peterson should be like competing for like
right
something, like a new all-star team of some kind. I'm not getting to any of this at all. I think it's one of those things where I think Valdez is good enough to keep me from playing KC. Casey's good enough, I guess, and keep me from playing Valdez. Same thing on the other side of this. I'm not getting any of this game, but I feel as though I should, but I'm just not right now.
Yeah, for what it's worth, like, I mean, I'll just move it over. The Valdez is like, I think this, I don't know what to do with him. I don't think he's been great, like his best this year, but I do think that there's some upside here for him, and he's actually been like pretty dominant against this team in the past. I'm open to it, and I also, if Vubic was a little bit cheaper, I would think I'd be talking about the same thing with him. This is a nice low total. I think Valdez I can talk myself into as a contrarian pitching option. He's just not going to get any ownership. And then I think that's pretty much it for me. But I do think Valdez is like a guy you could look at who's really not all that different than the top rated guys today, and is just not being. I don't know. If I was betting, if you forced me to bet on his numbers today, I'd bet the overs on his strikeout prop on all of his numbers today. You got Mark Hanna and Hunter Renfroe back in the lineup, and Salvador Perez. These guys have not hit like all season. And Jonathan India has not hit until last night all season. So yeah, there's a lot of, this is an interesting slate. There's a lot of pitching options that are in like a similar tier, I feel like. And speaking of which, we get into it with the Yankees and Seattle right here. What do you like here?
Yeah, someone else could play Max Fried at 10-5. I'm not going to be that person. I just think we have options that are just as good, if not better, that are like $2,000 cheaper. So I'm not. I don't think I'm going to do that. He just does rate as one of the top, second tier options. But I mean, I want some money for some hitting. So I don't think I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'll probably get to some, but I'm not going to do it on purpose, to put it that way. And I'm not getting to. If you want to play like a super contrarian option, you can play Brian Wu, I guess.
I don't think he's super contrarian at all.
Oh no, I was going to say a Yankees coming off a 400-run game last night. I'm not quite getting there, but I certainly wouldn't blame you if you did. And I'm not getting to the Yankees either, nor am I getting to Seattle.
Yeah, I like both pitchers.
Okay.
I think Wu is. I mean, like I keep saying, I think Wu is one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's on his way up. And if you don't believe me, you can look at the numbers. He had that one bad starting at San Diego, and he didn't pitch well in his last game against the A's, but it wasn't like it's forgivable. Nothing like crazy terrible. He's flashed a ceiling. They're both really good pitchers who are not known for their strikeout prowess, but they have two of the highest strikeout expected rates on the slate. So I'm interested in both. And I haven't found a stack that I like yet, except for maybe the Cubs. So I'm not going to say no to Max Fried, who's been just completely awesome. I mean, you look at he's put up 22 or more in 5 out of 6. People say 30 a lot with baseball, with DraftKings and stuff. It's just not a number you should ever be trying to get or expect unless you have like a guy with a 7+ strikeout expected rate. Max Fried keeps hitting it. Like, I don't know. I can't just overlook this one. So I'm kind of a little bit interested here in both pitchers. I was trying to think, could I make a case for a contrarian Yankee stack even against my Brian Wu love? And as of right now, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting to it. And also this game, another one that SaberSim's got almost a run and a half higher than Vegas, or not a run and a half, almost a full run higher. The Vegas, it's a 7 total, and they've got it at around 8. All right. Look, SaberSim, I guess I know it's different because they're averaging out everything, but I guess they certainly seem to like the overs today. All right, Angels and Padres on a big slate here that we have. Honestly, how could I not have found any hitting yet? Sheets, maybe I'll find some here. How about you? What are you thinking about this one?
Well, this completes the chalk pitching pairing. Dylan Cease at home against the Angels is probably $2,000 too cheap. So him and Ben Brown are going to be probably the pairing in all the cash lineups and all the. And a good amount of the big buy-ins, I think. And I certainly am not going to argue with that. The Padres can't. I mean, I'm just not getting there. I have no problem with it. I'm just not exactly getting there. I will also say, by the way, that of the two, let's just say Ben Brown and Cease were the two clear options. I do think the Angels are the better kind of like close your eyes and pray leverage point.
Interesting.
Yeah, I do, because Cease has just a range of outcome. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
If you get that Cease that we all know and love or know and hate, I hope that Angels have like Hoppy back, and I hope that they have their lineups back or whatever.
Yeah.
But if I had to pick one of those kind of like super duper Saber Simon and Mood leverage spots to get to, probably be the Angels. But I think Cease is like, I think it's a pretty difficult fade in big buy-ins. Cease.
I think it's a pretty easy fade, just in the fact that, I mean, he does stand out to be the clearly number one, but like just with his strikeouts and everything. But I mean, like, we know the range of outcome. I mean, we're not even talking about like 5 of his last 6 starts, 3 of them against bad teams, and he literally couldn't. He was terrible. It's not like we're talking about like he's gonna be good like half the time, 60% of the time or something. It's not like he's like some sort of lock anymore. So but again, I like the upside a little too much to pass up. Maybe I'll mix in some other guys just because there's a lot of pitchers that I think are in play. I'm interested in a low-owned Padres stack. Look, there's not much I like so far. Soriano is not a guy who I'm terribly afraid of, obviously, and he can get wild, which I love. And the Padres at low ownership, they're expensive. I think that this is a spot where I might try to force in some Padres, and it's partly because they're expensive that no one's going to play. But look at these ownership numbers; like they are like non-existent. Tatis at 3%. And shout out to Grant Neefer, by the way, because he had his home run props yesterday, and I actually liked all of the bets. So I put 10% of each of the guys in, which forced my builds a little bit, but which got me this Kansas City stuff. But it was Tatis. He had Tatis, Julio Rodriguez, and Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt didn't hit a home run, but had a good game. But Tatis and Julio Rodriguez both did hit a home run, so that was a pretty good call by him. Yeah, so I guess San Diego and Cease for me. And I really think San Diego makes like a lot of sense in a slate where we don't have these 5-run totals outside of 2 places on the whole slate. So kind of like that San Diego idea. All right, San Francisco and Arizona, of course, getting Merrill Kelly extremely wrong last night for the 100th time, but also got it right a few times, which is all you need because it'll work sometimes. You have another spot here where I don't think I can play these pitchers in this matchup on this slate. That's just where I'm at, and I think it's a cross off for me as of right now.
Not for me. I have Arizona like really, really high on my builds.
Maybe that's the thing to do.
Yeah, okay. That's what I got. I have them rated well projection wise. I also have them simming well also. And I don't think that they're going to be particularly popular.
No, they won't be.
I mean, in San Francisco, coming off of like that freaking, what was it, 2-1 last night or whatever it is. The fact is, I mean, Arizona usually has better hitting conditions at home, So in San Francisco, you probably don't want to play them. But like I said, we're looking for teams, and with the exception of the last game, which we're going to get to shortly, I think Arizona is a very, very reasonable option. So I'm definitely getting that. And I'm not getting any of the pitching. I'm also getting a little bit of San Francisco also. So I'm just kind of hoping that somehow the San Francisco weather or everything just kind of cooperates a little bit. So that's what I got here.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, the lefties they do struggle with Arizona, so I kind of like the idea if you're taking some shots against Robbie Ray here. Okay. Maybe there's something to that, Sheets.
Well, I mean, listen, if you get the good Robbie Ray, you probably want to play him, and if you don't get the good Robbie Ray, you probably want to.
I don't even think you want to play him if you do, because what he could put up a ceiling against any, like I guess he could put it up against anybody, but this is like a tough lineup. Yeah. I mean, they are no fun to pitch to. Like, Maybe you do. Maybe.
Okay, so take some pitches. So let's San Francisco take some pitches, get the carousel going.
Yeah.
And let's see if their 8 runs are enough fantasy wise to get there.
Right.
Playing it that way.
Right.
All right. So I mean, we've been kind of just like delaying this the whole time, and one of the reasons why that you could the Cease Brown combination is going to be so strong is, I mean, we, like you've talked about, haven't really been impressed with any stack, honestly. Like we're making cases for freaking Arizona in San Francisco. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That's what we're doing here. Or the Yankees is alone in against Brian Wu and God knows what else. Or Texas is like it's atrocious chalk. Like and all this stuff. So then he's got the Dodgers with like 100-point total. Like
right.
And against a team with not great pitching. I mean, why don't we just play them? So I think that I don't know what the ownership's going to be. I have them rated like 5th overall value, whatever it is, but I don't know what the ownership's going to be. But I think with the presence of those two kind of very affordable pitchers, you have to think that they're going to get played. But nonetheless, I do have them as one of the top options. They're a late game. Screw around with them in Arizona back and forth if you wanted to play that way. And that's pretty much it. I do not have the A's in my list. I have to consult with Eric Johnson to see if it's okay to play them. By the way, it's like really funny. I thought about it yesterday also. They had Caesars put like a tweet yesterday about a better but $400 from the A's to win $120,000 or something like that. I'm like, oh, there's Eric Johnson firing it away. So anyway,
I don't disagree with that, by the way.
So anyway, yeah. So I think the Dodgers are very, very strong.
Yeah, the Dodgers are going to be the second chalkiest team, I believe.
Behind what, Texas?
I looked at it earlier. Let me double check who it was. It was Texas, yeah, because of the pricing. Everybody says this, and I just got to correct everybody all the time. They always think that the way to play expensive stacks is cheap pitching, which it barely makes a difference, to be honest with you. You need to have cheap spots in the lineup, otherwise you have no chance. What happens is that means the cheap spots are going to be extremely heavily owned, and the Dodgers have got a bunch of them tonight. So you've got Kike Hernandez, Miguel Rojas, Outman, and Taylor in the projected lineup.
Okay.
We'll see what they actually go with, because it's the one thing I want to mention is that I still have some Jeffrey Springs stock in the Jeffrey Springs is not so bad camp. You know what I mean? I know he hasn't had a great start to this year, but I still don't know how bad he is. And on another slate, I'd be okay looking the other way. I just don't have enough other stacks that I want to play, so I have to play the Dodgers. Now, what do I do with the 5-mans with them? It's going to be tricky. What I would say is, if you're going to do it, if you're hand building, especially, just keep in mind the best Dodger of all has been he's the second lowest owned one, because everybody, if they want to pay $6K plus, they want to play Ohtani. Freddie Freeman has been the best player in baseball, not named Aaron Judge this season. And he just won Player of the Week. He's hitting .378 for the season, just behind Judge's 410. So I like the idea of getting to maybe the Pages, Freeman, Conforto at slightly lower ownership than the rest of the Dodgers. I think the A's are the way maybe you can get different with a Dodger stack. Also, you have some late game swapability and all that stuff. As everyone knows, I'm not like an obsessive Landon Knack fan, and he pitched well his last time out. That's pretty much all I can say about him. I think there's a really good chance the A's get to him here. And while it's not as good a hitter's park as they're playing in this season, it's a much better hitter's park than they've played in for most of their career in Oakland when it's 50 degrees. So I'm in on the both sides of this one. Of all the stacks, the Dodgers and Cubs are my favorite, just in a vacuum. And then the other pieces, I think I'd get to the Athletics, San Diego, and Atlanta. Season Brown are the clear 1-2, I think, in terms of, like, if you're playing a cash game, you're probably playing them.
Yeah.
But have the lighter Fried, Wu, Senga, Schwellenbach, even Valdez for me. All of those guys are viable, but I do think Brown and Caesar. So that's sort of how I would tie it back. That's what I got.
So I currently, as I mentioned, on DraftKings, I have Arizona as my top stack. And that's, again, factoring in all the sims and the projections and everything together. Then I have actually my stupid leverage stacks, like some Miami. And then after that's the Dodgers. On FanDuel, I also have Arizona as the top stack. And second on there is hoping for some magical wins in San Francisco, because I have San Francisco rated number 2 as far as ownership. So I'll be sitting there like, you guys all put your numbers up, and I'll just I'll see if I can't catch you guys, while at the same time holding off the Dodgers. So that's what I have right now. Again, but things obviously to that point about how things obviously change. For those of you that are watching the live stream, you saw me in like literally 10 minutes, like 15 minutes before lock, completely change like my entire exposures.
Right.
Not for no reason, just by changing one setting. Okay, so
right.
So I can't guarantee I'm going to have a share of Arizona by the end of the day. But right now, and that's why you talk about process. If I have to do it now, that's what I would end up having. And again, the good news about having those guys is you have some flexibility. You could screw around a little bit with that. If the Pirates put up 9 runs on you today, if you played them yesterday, or what's going to happen, we'll fade Texas, and then you'll get the Wyatt Langford 3 home run game or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be really irritating if that happens.
Yeah, it sure is.
No chalk in baseball. And again, it's hitting more than usual. Like, I feel like the last 2 years, I swear there's been more chalk stacks. You know what else I'm pissed off about it myself is that Rhodey turned me on to Detroit because he was talking about Tanner Houck, and I was saying we got to play some Detroit, and then Detroit comes out and scores 15 runs in like 2 minutes.
And you touted you sung their praises.
Yeah, I was saying I loved them, and then
best team in the American League. You can only play them on FanDuel, and bang.
That would have been nice to at least get a little bit of money back.
Did they win the slate? I presume.
I mean, well, on FanDuel, I'm sure they did. I don't know.
I know I didn't have any, so I stopped paying attention.
Yeah.
Actually, I did have some. The Yankees got there a little bit later. I bet you it was a Tigers Yankees.
Oh yeah, because the Yankees did, but it was like a funny Yankees. Like Judge was fine, but like it would actually have been beneficial to.
No, it was Grisham.
Yeah, it was Grisham who had the 2 home runs.
It was Grisham with the 2 home
runs. And then Austin Wells hit a grand slam.
That's right. Who else? Somebody else hit a grand slam yesterday. Late in the game.
The guy for was one of the later. Oh, it was Angels. Taylor Ward.
Yes. So the winner of the FanDuel lottery was exactly that. It was a Yankees Tigers. It was a 4-man Yankees, including Wells, Trent Grisham with a 40 ball, Aaron Judge just making value at 21, and Cabrera with 9 at 1%, and then the Texas guys, Gleyber Torres had 38. Oh, the one-off of Corbin Carroll. He had
2 home runs also,
and of course the winning pitcher, Clark Schmidt.
Clark Schmidt with the win. Yep. They needed to save. That's one where they did need to save on the pitching.
Yep. All the other pitchers did fine. I mean, Tyler Mahle, he had 40 on FanDuel.
Yeah, all the guys we played were good. Just
Michael King, they got to him a little bit.
A little bit, but he still pitched. He still had a reasonable.
Yeah, game. But I bet you everybody got tilted. Two reasons to get tilted. Number one, they took him out 1/3 of an inning before the quality start.
Yeah, then he lost the win with the grand.
And he lost the win. Yeah. Didn't matter. I don't think. Actually, the guy got second in the lottery with Michael King.
Well, because he still had like 21 fantasy points, didn't he?
30 on FanDuel, he had 35.
Yeah. So he had a fine game. It just wasn't.
You just need to be able to get to the Tigers and the Yankees. That's it.
That's right. That's simple as that. All right, we'll be back live at 5:30. I'm interested in tonight. So this is my my preferred night of basketball. I'm big on the Nuggets, as everybody knows. So I'm looking.
Yeah, well, we want a quick take on that. So what's the spread in that game?
I'm afraid they're going to get. I bet it's probably 10.5 or so.
Is that OKC tonight?
Yeah. Let me just see real quick. Let's see. It's 10 exactly. And the Cavs are favored by 7.5. So.
We'll just ladder than minus 19.5. I guess.
I think the Cavs are gonna. This is the Cavs win by 30 type of deal, And I think that the Nuggets, I think I'll say it again, I think if the game's close, the Nuggets win the game. I think the game is like 20 the whole game. You're probably looking at it turns into 30 or 40, and OKC blows them out. That's where I'm at.
Just for fun. We have a minute, right?
Yeah.
Just for fun. Let's see what these ladders look like here. Can I show? Now, did we figure out the screen sharing issue?
Let's try it. Let's see what we got.
See what happens. It's not exactly the same because this is from my office and not at home, so there might be.
Yeah.
Well, but okay, so let's see if we can ladder the Cavaliers here. So how do we do that? Game lines? Is that what we do?
What are you trying to figure out how to do?
I want to lay like 19 or something. Oh, here we go. Okay.
So, there you go.
All right. So Cavaliers minus 19.5. What do we get? Only plus 390? I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I mean, seriously.
That's ridiculous. That's so stupid.
That's pretty funny. But in fairness, they do let you take the other side.
Well, let's see. What happens if you have Indiana minus like 14.5?
Hang on. I also want to see, even if I play Cavaliers, because you said 30, right? So if they take the minus 29.5, see, this is why you know it's a bad bet. I can get 10 to 1 on them.
Get out of here. It should be like 60 to 1.
But wait, no. But in fairness, they can let you take the Pacers plus 29.5, but you got to lay 26 to 1. So
yeah,
the 26 to 1 to 10 to 1 spread. DraftKings, no shame. Just no shame at all. So what were you saying? You want to try the Pacers?
Well, I'm just curious if the Pacers were like, what did I say, 19.5?
Yeah. So let's see what they're like.
Yeah.
We're gonna go the other way. So Pacers what? Minus 9.5?
Or actually, that's fine. Let's see what
Pacers minus 9.5 plus 790. See, I think that's doable.
That's a much better bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is because they just won the last game by 48 or whatever it was. Wow,
that's not the worst idea in the world, is it?
No, I just happen to like Cleveland tonight, but I think that there's something to that bet. I mean, I'm telling you, these guys who just do that.
Yeah, but you can't because look at what this. I mean, it's telling you can't bet it because Cleveland is minus the same odds on Cleveland. They're minus 23 to 1.
I know it's crazy.
It's it's just no shame. I mean, they got to make it competitive here. Like here, if you do here, it's at least minus like 160 point spread. This is why sports betting is impossible. It's not no. Sports betting is not impossible. Play these futures or these prop bets are impossible.
Yeah, that's why I like the flat minus 9.5 both ways every game.
Right.
It's the smartest thing. I know it's not like the most intelligent. It's the best idea I've heard in a long time.
Okay,
because it happens all the time, and when the underdog does it, and they get it 15 to 1 or whatever, 20 to 1, it doesn't matter all the other games you're losing where that doesn't happen.
Want to look real second, real quick, and take quick look at the golf odds here.
Well, that must be the first time so that's probably the closest the spread has ever been between Rory and Scotty in any tournament since I've been doing DFS.
No, I don't even look at anything under 20 to 1.
Or since Scotty became Scotty. What? No, do you see what I'm saying? No, I just am curious. I just thought that was interesting.
See,
how about Hideki at 45 to 1?
How about Hideki at 45 to 1?
I think that's a great number.
How about Shane Lowry at 55?
Just the problem is hitting it.
Corey Connor 65? Can he actually win like a major?
But Hideki, well, yeah, Corey Connor, he can win like the Masters at some point because he's always right there. But okay, if you want the super long shot one, I would say Minwoo Lee and the less long shot.
I was looking at that.
Hideki, or even, by the way, I'm not saying he's going to win, but Sungjae shouldn't be that far back. He should be with the 60 to 1 guys.
How about? I think we have to play Homa just for the vibes. At 160 to 1, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way we're gonna let him win without us having it. There's just no way. I'm not having it.
This tournament though doesn't feel like the right one for me.
Oh, it's that well. There's no tournament the right one. He hasn't. That was the first ticket he's cashed in like 5 years last week. Okay, so here's just like vibes of like who I think just is just too much. Okay, I'm just staring at it, right? You know, I'm gonna put one in.
Finau.
All right. What's that?
Finau too.
That's correct. That's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna play just We'll play a half unit. Okay, we'll play. Where'd he go? If you can't find him, you can't play him. Okay, Tony Finau for $90. See, I'm not tempting the gods too much. So I'm not going to win 10,000 if it wins.
Right.
It's only 99.90. Maybe I can win that one. And the other one that I saw, is it possible that Sergio Garcia can win? No, I guess not. Okay, so here's the other one I'm going to play. I'm just going to play it. Just as mentioned him yesterday. I'm going to play Tom Kim at 180 to 1.
Oh wow, 180. That seems extreme.
There it is. So those are my two bombs I'm going to forget about. So
okay.
so somebody remind me if any of those two guys are like in contention. Now who actually looks good here? Like, you think Xander 22 to 1 is reasonable?
Yes.
Yeah, right. How about Rahm at 18?
Both very reasonable, but probably not the number that it's pretty good. It feels like it should be a little bit worse, but it's not. I don't know what he'll do for this exact tournament, and he hasn't looked good at all. But I'll just say that Oberg is probably the best of these golfers.
Yeah.
He's 28 to 1.
Yeah.
Cantlay is made for this kind of course, although he never wins the majors. But Hideki does, and Hideki and Brooks would be my favorites of those guys.
Brooks, huh?
Well, I just throw everything out with him because I've seen it too many times.
Yeah.
He's performed a million times, and he's come in and won the U.S. Open or whatever.
I think Oberg at 28 to 1 is reasonable. I think of like the guys that people know. You know what I mean? I think Xander, Oberg. I like both those guys, and I'm gonna get not talked into. I'm gonna probably end up at the end of the day playing some Hideki, like you said.
Yeah. I think that makes some sense, and not to throw more names in, but the only other one that is sort of is maybe Hideki-ish mold, it would be Hovland has the ability at 50 to 1 at any tournament.
Right.
A little bit extreme.
Yeah.
Because you don't know whether you're getting the good or the bad, but the good is as good as anybody in golf. Like, so those are my thoughts.
Wait, there's gonna be one more I have to play again. This is, we're throwing money away, but we just kind of have to do it, right? Where do you go? Where do you go? Okay, we're gonna have to do this.
Oh yeah, you're doing it.
Yeah, we'll do it in half unit on him. We just have to. It's just now we're forced. I mean, every event we have to play him. And before I forget, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to play the Hideki. So we're going to do that.
I think Finau is one of those where it wouldn't surprise me if he turned around and had a great tournament here. But I think Hideki is the most. I actually am going to consider that Hideki one myself.
I mean, can Finau like actually win? I probably not. But if he's like. If he's on the board going into Sunday, I'll have a sweat. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If he's within 4 strokes somehow, like.
Absolutely. Yeah, 110 is a lot.
When Scheffler's like minus 19 and like.
Yeah.
And then Finau's having the tournament of his life at minus 11 or something like that.
Right. And you feel like you're in there because he's the next best guy, but.
And then Scheffler like sprays one into the freaking woods and ends up with like a par.
Right.
It's like nuts.
That's funny. All right, man.
I guess we're good.
Yeah. So good luck, and then I'll do a show with Kenny for golf, and good luck, everybody.